Do you regret opening up about your miscarriage online? I'm like shaking talking about this because it makes me so angry. Would you financially be able to afford your home/lifestyle if you weren't in a relationship? Are you gonna share your kids online? Do you worry your high income will become unrelated? Why do you never wear your wedding ring? Do you ever hold resentment/sadness towards your sister for not being at your wedding? Hello my loves, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well, having yourselves a beautiful day. I'm so excited for today's video. We are really throwing it back to OG YouTube. I feel like I used to do Q&As all the time, and now since I like vlog every single week, I feel like I tell you guys pretty much everything, but there's definitely been some things that I've been avoiding or just like don't have time to go into detail in the vlogs without blabbing on for half an hour. So that is what this video is going to be. Just like very chatty, catching up, answering questions I've been avoiding. I asked you guys on my Instagram for your questions and you really came through with the goods. So yeah, we're gonna dive into those. I thought I'd do my makeup so we can get ready while we do it. I've got my blueberry iced latte to fuel me. I've had so many questions asking how I make the syrup. I showed it in my most recent vlog and also the vlog before that, but it's literally so easy. If you Google like homemade blueberry syrup, you can see it's water, blueberries, and sugar. So easy, so tasty. Adds a little something to my iced latte. But yeah, let's get into it. I've got my makeup bag at the ready, my ice roller ready to go. I need to depuff this face of mine and we're gonna answer some questions. I'll start off with an easy one just to ease into it. Someone asked, is doing YouTube full-time going well? As in, are you still happy you quit your job for YouTube? Yes, it is going really well, like better than I ever expected. It was always going to be a bit of a risk, and I'm naturally quite a risk adverse person, but I'm absolutely loving it. I feel so lucky that I get to call this my job and get to do this every single day, especially something that has been a hobby for such a long time, and having worked a normal 9-to-5 job since I was 21, I can definitely appreciate how lucky and how fortunate I am to be in this position. And it's just so cool that something that has been a hobby of mine since I was 15, 16 years old is now my job. Like, crazy. Ooh, okay, let's get into the hard-hitting ones. Do you regret opening up about your miscarriage online? This is a really good question. Why am I shaking my setting spray? Last step, doll. Settle down. Do I regret opening up about my miscarriage online? No. But short answer, no. Long answer, no, but sometimes. I feel like this is a very multifaceted answer. On one hand, I'm so proud of myself for breaking that stigma that comes with miscarriage. It's such a taboo word and it's not talked about nearly enough online, especially when 1 in 4 women will experience one. I understand why it's not talked about because it's such a vulnerable, traumatic thing. To open up to the world about that is a very scary thing. So I'm proud of myself for doing that. I'm so grateful that I did that because I feel like I have been able to have such beautiful, encouraging conversations with other women that have either gone through a similar experience or are going through a similar experience. Me being open and vulnerable, I think, has allowed those conversations to be had, and it's a powerful thing. I think being vulnerable, that it comes with a lot of power. It is also very scary. Some people online are horrible, like horrible scum of the earth human beings, and will use anything, and I mean anything, like something as traumatic as a miscarriage and use it against you to hate on you. And yeah, I will never understand that. There's plenty of people that I don't like online and I just choose to not watch their content. I'm like shaking talking about this because it makes me so angry. There's plenty of people that I don't enjoy watching online and I'll just skip past, block them if I have to. Like, no matter how much you hate someone, I cannot imagine going online and hating on them. Like, I just don't get it. I really do not get it, let alone using something like a miscarriage to hate on them. Like, I just do not get it. Yeah, it's only times like that where I regret talking about it, because obviously if I'd never talked about it, people would never be able to use those things to hurt me. But alas, they do. It is what it is. It's fine. I mean, it's not fine. It's actually not. I don't know why hating and just like being horrible online has become such a normalized thing. Like, why are we casually bullying people? And it's never with their real account, with their real name and their real profile. They're always hiding behind anonymous names. Like, if you really felt that way, say it with your chest, you know? So yeah, in short, I don't regret talking about it. I hope that it's been really helpful for other people just to see someone else go through that experience and the highs and lows that come with that. And it's also just been like selfishly very beneficial for me to be able to have those conversations with people and just to be vulnerable with you guys. I can't imagine showing up online and not talking about it and just pretending like everything's okay, because it is such, like, it's an all encompassing experience and something that I will live with forever. Kind of continuing on with the baby related questions, just to get them all over and done with. How long were you and your husband trying for when you got pregnant, and are you still now? I don't know if I talked about this in the video. I actually don't even remember. I honestly have not gone back and watched it. I'm just not ready to yet. I've lived it, like I don't need to relive it. So I can't quite remember what I've talked about and what I haven't, and I've kind of shared little snippets here and there in vlogs as I've kind of been healing over the last few months. So I don't remember what I talked about and how much detail I gave, but we only tried for 1 month. We were really, really lucky. We fell pregnant literally straight away. And that's why if you watch the video and see my reaction, like we were both so shocked because it did happen so fast, and I always expected it to take a little bit longer. And I think the other question is if we are trying again. I got quite a few questions about that, like are we trying? How is that journey looking like for us? And that is something that Nick and I as a couple have decided to keep offline, at least for right now. It just feels a little too raw, a little too vulnerable. Anyone that does share their TTC trying to conceive journey, hats off to you. Like I admire so much, because I feel like that would be the most vulnerable, well, it is one of the most vulnerable things you can share. I get it, I get the curiosity, because we did share that we were pregnant, and I think people automatically assume that we are going to be trying again and that we're desperate to get pregnant, but really we're just trying to heal and just see what happens. We're really not putting any pressure on anything or any timeline on anything. I'll answer one more pregnancy related question. Someone asked, hope this isn't too personal, but how are you overcoming the anxiety of trying again? Really just taking it day by day, I think is so much easier said than done. Trying not to put too much pressure on anything. I think it's really easy to become so fixated on it. Why did I say that so weird? Fixated on it. Whether you've been pregnant before or you're trying to get pregnant, I think especially after experiencing a loss, you go from being at your absolute highest of highs to your lowest of lows. And I think it's only human nature that you're desperate to get that feeling back. Yeah, I really don't have an answer for this. I think no matter what happens and no matter what our journey looks like, I will always have a level of anxiety going into it. I think that's just natural. I'm gonna overcome that when the time comes. I have absolutely no bloody idea. I've talked about this with some of my friends. Like one part of me is so excited, so desperate to be pregnant again, like cannot wait to have a baby and go on that journey. But then there's another huge part of me that is so afraid and like almost is scared for it to happen again. It's almost like I'm trying to protect myself. I think I am trying to protect myself all of the time. I'm like, oh, we'll see what happens. Like, no pressure, but I think I'm just like, yeah, just being brave and trying to protect my emotions and my feelings. So I'm not sure how that will manifest when we do eventually try again and do, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, get pregnant again. But I guess we'll just cross that bridge when we get to it, honestly. Worst hate comment, anything related to my miscarriage, my pregnancy. As a human to another human, please just think about what you say to people, about people online. You never know what people are going through behind closed doors, and I don't know why being mean online has become such a casual, normal thing. Do you think couples have a leg up financially compared to singles? This is a really good question. I do. In some ways, no. I mean, I've been single before once upon a time. It was in a very different season of my life, but I can categorically say I spent way less as a single in terms of discretionary spending than I ever have in a relationship before. You have another person maybe influencing you, or there's just like things that you would do as a couple that you just don't do as a single person. Also, if you combine finances, you're paying for everything twice. Like if Nick and I go on a holiday, we're paying for both of us. In saying that, a single going on holiday maybe doesn't want to share a hostel room with 6 other people, and then they're paying the exact same cost for one. So yeah, I definitely think for the most part, you do get a leg up as a couple. Traveling is like one small example. A bigger one would be renting, being approved for a mortgage. Like there are so many benefits, I guess, of being in a relationship and having a partner. I don't think it's impossible to do it when you're single, but it is definitely a lot harder. This one's another good one. It kind of goes hand in hand with the last one. Would you financially be able to afford your home/lifestyle if you weren't in a relationship? Oh, yes, now I would, but if you'd asked me 12 months ago, no. I also probably wouldn't live in a house, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house if I was on my own. We bought this house with the intention of growing a family, and there was always going to be at least 2 people living here. I mean, yeah, I could afford it now, but I probably wouldn't. God, I feel like I've been talking for hours and I've barely gotten through any questions. Let's do a quick one here. If you do most of the financial tracking, do you resent your partner at times for not? If he suddenly became really passionate about it, I don't know what I would do. I'd be like, this is actually my domain, back off because I enjoy it so much. It's not a chore for me. It's actually quite therapeutic. So no resentment here. We have a very balanced relationship. There's things that I enjoy doing and that I'm good at and things that I'm not so good at and vice versa. So I think we really balance each other out in that respect. I do the same when it comes to holidays. Like I love planning holidays, so I'm gonna take that on and that is my choice to take on. There's definitely other things, like I can't even think of an example, but things that we both don't necessarily enjoy, like emptying the dishwasher, for example. Like we will share that out. But yeah, in terms of budgeting and tracking, no resentment. I love it. Have you ever had a relationship you consider serious besides Nick? Yes, one relationship when I was living in Canada. It was pretty serious, like actually really quite serious now I look back on it. It was actually a very immature relationship when I look back on it, but we were willing to make very serious mature decisions like marriage, applying for partnership visas, me willing to move my whole life across the other side of the world. Yeah, that was a pretty serious relationship, but that's pretty much the only one. I've had like, you know, high school little flings here and there, but yeah, nothing crazy. Also, Nick and I met when we were 21, so I haven't had time really for any other serious relationships. What has been the hardest part about being married? Ooh, I don't know if there is a hard part. This is such an annoying answer, but like, I think when you're in the right relationship, bearing in mind we haven't had kids, and I feel like that is a huge test in any kind of relationship. So my answer is very likely to change, but I think when it's just you two, there's definitely been hard, challenging things that we've gone through individually and also as a couple, no doubt about it. Some very challenging things. I think ultimately when you love your partner and your partner is your best friend, like getting through those hard things is easy. But yeah, I can't think of the hardest part about being married. I think there's just hard things that come your way that you have to tackle as a couple and as a married couple. But no, like I love being married. I get to wake up with my best friend every day. I feel like marriage really didn't change a lot for us, in a good way. The wedding and the whole celebration and like professing our love to each other in front of all of our loved ones was beautiful, obviously. But the next day we woke up and we were kind of just like, oh, same old, like nothing's really changed, in a really healthy and good way. I think ultimately marriage is a choice and it's something that you actively have to choose every single day. This one's a good one because it's a very like topical thing. I feel like there's so much conversation around this at the moment. Are you going to share your kids online when you eventually have them? Probably 5 years ago I would have said yes, like of course I share my life, like I'm going to share my children. I feel like it was such a normalized thing, and now there is so much awareness and just so much more conversation around the risks of sharing children online. I think unless you're a parent and unless you're in that situation, I think it's really hard to say for sure. At this point, I don't think I would share them, at least not in the way that children have been shared before. I will never be a family vlog channel. You're just not going to catch me doing that. I think I will be fiercely protective of their privacy. I think I would share the same way that I share like Nick, for example. He sometimes makes the odd comment, makes a little appearance here and there, but he's not the center of my content. It's not a couple's channel, it's my channel, my life, and he's just a background character. He's not a secret. Our relationship isn't a secret, but it is something that I keep quite private and don't share a lot of. And I think that will probably be my stance going into motherhood. I think motherhood in general, like my experience with motherhood, is something that I will share quite openly. Someone asked, do you worry your high income will become unrelatable? I think I've maybe touched on this before when I first quit my job to do social media full time, because that was definitely a consideration, the unrelatability of not working a traditional job and then consequently probably making more money from social media because I'm doing it more and I have more time for it. So it's definitely a consideration, and I think I have talked about it before, but ultimately, no, I don't really worry about it. I've shared my financial journey online for the last almost 4 years, and you guys have really seen the highs and lows, the ebbs and flows, moments of unemployment, me having my best month on social media. Yeah, you've really seen both ends of the scale, and I'm sure there's more to come, hopefully, touch wood. It's never really been about how much money I make, and I hope that my content and how I discuss money, it like never comes across that way. Of course, earning more means there's so much less financial stress and so much less pressure and anxiety around money, which is like one component. I can also reach my financial goals quicker, pay off debt quicker, but it's never really been about that. It's not about comparison. Like no one is ever going to earn the same amount of money as you. There's plenty of people that I've watched online and watched their financial journeys, and we're in completely different tax brackets. It's more about what you do with that money and more of the mentality around money. I think if we're talking in the context of people struggling to feed themselves and put a roof over their head, that's an entirely different thing, and that's a really scary reality a lot of people are facing right now with the cost of living. That is not what my content is for. I'm not talking about how to get yourself out of a financial hole. That's not something I'm currently experiencing or have experienced. And I can't fake that. I can't force that. I'm just going to share what I do and have those honest conversations around money, because not enough people talk about it. It's not really about the amounts. It's more so the money psychology and the money mindset more than anything. Why do you never wear your wedding ring? I actually have been quite bad about wearing it recently for literally no reason. Nothing's happening. We're fine. I am just forgetful. I think because I've been working out a lot more. I take it off when I shower, when I go to bed, when I go to Pilates, when I do my at-home workout. So that's like a large percentage of my day. And you know what? Sometimes I just forget to put it back on. So there's no tea. I still love my rings. I still love being married. I just, yeah, forget. I'm forgetful, I guess. Why are you paying more off of your mortgage rather than buying an investment property? Because I'm not sure if I want an investment property. Ooh, this one's a deep question. Do you ever hold resentment / sadness towards your sister for not being at your wedding? I'd be lying if I said that I didn't used to. Obviously at the time, like it was sad. It's been almost 3 years now though, and my sister is back in my life. And really, I think unless you have had a sibling or like someone close to you that has dealt with mental health issues, or in this case, like an eating disorder, I think it's hard to understand that. And I think it just comes with a level of forgiveness. It's not my sister. I think you really have to separate the two. It wasn't my sister that didn't come to my wedding. It was her eating disorder that prevented her from coming to the wedding. So I can't hold resentment or sadness at my sister now that she's in recovery and is just an entirely different person. It'd be so unfair of me to hold that resentment and then that anger towards her when I know it wasn't her. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know my sister, God, it's gonna make me emotional. My sister at her core and who she is and our relationship, and you know, we were like literally the best of friends growing up. There's like a 5-year age gap between us. We were always super close growing up, and I know that sister and the sister that I know now would be at my wedding in a heartbeat. It was just really unfortunate timing with when the wedding was and where she was at in her recovery. Like, she was just really, really unwell. So no, there's no point dwelling on it. Like, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? And luckily, we get to make really exciting new memories. Are you trying to post more lifestyle content to get away from the finance content? Again, another really interesting question, because if you've been watching me on social media for a while, you would know that the personal finance stuff is pretty new. Like, I've been doing it on YouTube for coming up on 4 years now. Definitely made more content now that I have more time to, but in the last 12 months that has become like a big focus on my Instagram and my TikTok. I think because it was doing so well and I was enjoying it so much, and especially when I quit my job I had a lot more time for it, I kind of really went all in on that. I wouldn't say I've pulled back on that necessarily, but I'm definitely trying to balance it a little bit more, because I know not everyone is here, believe it or not everyone is here for the money personal finance chat. There are some people that have been here from the start with me sharing my life and the lifestyle side of things. So I think there'll be seasons of my life where all I want to talk about is money, and there'll be other times where I don't really want to talk about it right now. I want to bring you along for my day and vlog more. So it's not a conscious thing. I have always posted lifestyle vlog stuff up until 12 months ago. I had nothing money related on my Instagram at all, but I guess if you're new here, you wouldn't know that. Have you ever hidden purchases / spending from your budget videos? No, not in terms of like overall figures, but there's definitely been things that I guess I haven't hidden them either. I just don't show them or highlight them. Like, there's some things that are just personal, you know? I'll share the overall amount. I'll tell you how much I've spent on certain things. But there's some things, like, we don't need to get into the nitty-gritty of it all. There's some things that I will maybe eventually share that I don't want to talk about right then and there. Like, if I was going for an ultrasound, I have to pay for that. Like, I don't want to talk about it right then because I'm not talking about my pregnancy just yet. Do you know what I mean? Or when we got Mabel, we didn't put that in the budget because I wanted that to be a little surprise. So there's definitely some things that I keep private, but the overall numbers are always like 100%, because believe it or not, even though I do share the budget and make content out of it, it is actually my budget. Like, I do use it. So I want to see the accurate numbers. Do you know what I mean? Okay, last two, these are both from Vicky. Do you believe in religion or God? Whoa. Religion is not something I have really ever talked about on my channel. They say, like, don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics. So I listen. I mean, like, I think it's pretty obvious. I don't follow any type of religion. I'm not religious myself. I don't necessarily believe in God. I'm pretty open-minded though, for the most part. Like, I like to believe there is something out there. There is an afterlife of some description. I'm not religious myself. I am open-minded. I'm accepting. I have a lot of different friends that believe in different things and practice different things. So religion is so fascinating to me. Like, I really enjoy learning about it and hearing about other people's experience with it. But it's not something that I partake. It's just like not part of my life. Do you know what I mean? Like, my parents aren't religious, but I am open-minded and I'm accepting, and that's the tea. And last question is, has Nick caved for a second puppy? Maybe. I cannot confirm nor deny. That's all I'm gonna say. Mabel is so ready for another dog, no doubt about it. I think that's become more and more apparent to us. She's been spending a lot of time with my parents' dog because my parents have been traveling and then we've been traveling a little bit, so we kind of do a little trade-off. And every time they're separated, I feel like she just gets really sad. Well, she's really sad right now because she has an ear infection, but that's another story. Look at her. Can you see her? She's like using the pillow as a pillow. I'm obsessed with it. Yeah, I feel like more and more every single time she's craving another dog and just that company. She's also at a really good age right now where I feel like it would be a good time to introduce another dog. She's still quite playful. She's energetic. She's only a year and a half. Every single day she'll look at herself in the mirror and like try and play with herself. I'm like, that's you. I don't know how to break this to you. That is you. She's at a good age right now where she's still young enough where I feel like we could introduce another dog and she'd be able to match their energy, but she's old enough to be fully trained and she would hopefully help with the second dog. And in terms of training, like she's really good. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Okay, well, my makeup is done. I feel like this is a good time to wrap up things. I feel like we answered a decent amount of questions. If you have any other questions or anything that you want me to discuss further, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. I love chatting to you guys in the comments, hearing about you and your life. Maybe I will ask you guys a question that you can leave if you've made it this far in the video. I'm gonna ask you, what is your dream travel destination and why? Why do you want to go there? Because I'm always looking for new places. You know me. So yeah, if you've made it this far, let me know where you want to go. And I'm going to end off this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you very, very soon for another video. Have a fantastic day, you guys, or night, whenever you're watching this. I love you.
Trusting your instincts, realize that knowing looks different to each. When living authentic, do more exploring, deeper than knowing just what is essential for life that is thriving. Go deep, mute out